This exercise is a transitional exercise that prepares us for moving forward into phase 2 of trauma recovery, the trauma memory processing phase. You will require paper and pencil and a chart from the downloadable materials. In her excellent book, The Body Remembers, Rothschild encourages an approach for trauma survivors where they learn to put the brakes on when beginning trauma memory processing. Rothschild uses the analogy of teaching a new driver to be really comfortable with the braking system in a car before accelerating. In the same manner, she finds methods for teaching individuals how to brake before becoming deeply involved in trauma work. In this way, you can start, slow down, or stop as needed while going through this or any exercise. You remain in control of the process. You can begin your work beyond the fear once you have learned that you do not need to be stuck in fear forever. Once you can see that you can touch just the surface of your painful memories and then return to a safe or neutral state, it's empowering and affords you the knowledge that you could master your own discomfort. There are many ways to put the brakes on as a way of moderating the release process involved in trauma processing. In this exercise, we'll begin by applying breathing, 5-4-3-2-1, or autogenic relaxation as a way of cooling down if things begin to feel too intense. Just use the approach that you found most useful so far. The key is to focus on only a bite-sized amount of your trauma memory and to start and stop trauma review so processing is not overly explosive or extreme at the beginning. First, let's start by understanding the steps to this exercise so you can try out the exercise for yourself. When we've unresolved traumatic memories, they tend to steal from our present-day energy and ability to cope, as related events or reminders can re-trigger the earlier event, resulting in feelings of distress that are related to the unresolved historical trauma. When we work to identify and then resolve earlier traumas, we're able to free up energy, extinguish triggers, and live our lives with a greater sense of freedom from distress. 1. Time out. To begin, we need to allow ourselves to stop or take a time out if the feelings of discomfort become too strong when working on the memories for this list. We can choose any of the exercises practiced earlier or simply allow ourselves to read something pleasant, call a friend, take a walk, or involve ourselves in an activity that refocuses our attention until we're able to return to the exercise. 2. Trigger list. The goal of this exercise is to develop a trigger list of disturbing life experiences that continue to feel unresolved, upsetting, and traumatic. For this, you'll need paper, pen, quiet time, and place. On one side, write trigger list, and on the other side, on the right-hand side of the paper, write SUDS rating. That's the 1 to 10 scale that I spoke about earlier. 3. Breakdown. The trigger list is broken down into early childhood, middle childhood to adolescence, young childhood, and adulthood to the present time. Complete sections as required by your age and experiences. 4. Using breaks. Once you've begun this list, ensure that you remind yourself to stop and put the brakes on whenever things feel overwhelming. This using of the brakes will give you the opportunity to practice some of the self-soothing techniques demonstrated for you in the moment, your ability to manage symptoms before they feel overwhelming. 5. Creating guardrails. In this exercise, you'll need to write out one sentence Simple descriptions with a maximum of 10 words that are just enough to recall the memory without going into great detail, as that will come later. For example, giving a timeline and a context, and then the explanation. So like this, I was 12 years old, in front of my family home. I walked across the street and was almost struck by a motorist. So you get the example. The first few words will just give the time frame and context. It is the words that follow that identify the traumatic memory, and they are not to exceed 7 to 10 words. 6. SUDS rating. Once the list is complete, read all the memories back, and this time reflect on the memory, giving them a rating based on the subjective units of distress scale. This is the 1 to 10 scale, where you represent 1 as a calm, relaxed state, 5, discomfort but within a manageable range, and 10 is the worst feelings of distress the person can recall. When you give a rating on the SUDS scale, your number should reflect your feelings of distress now, in this moment, when you think of the difficult moment from the past. The list is to be completed based on how you feel as you look back on the event now. Really, how ignitable is that old memory in this moment? When you give a SUDS rating, you need to do so recognizing that some memories felt very bad at the time and still feel bad today, whereas others might have felt very bad at the time but no longer feel as bad because you have a sense of resolution about the memory. 7. Add until complete. Add as many memories as you wish to this section until you feel it's complete. 8. Identify themes. Once the trigger list has been built, reflect again on all the items on the list in order to identify any guiding principles, themes, or threads that weave these memories together and make them seem familiar in your life. These may take the form of negative beliefs. For example, I'm not lovable, everyone lets me down, life is dangerous. These are operating principles upon which a person is building their beliefs about the world around them and have a fundamental impact on how they live their lives. Now it's possible to work with both the memories as well as the core beliefs as they've been established as a result of these pivotal life experiences. Take the time now to find size trigger list from your downloadable materials.